Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is okay. I kind of look like I'm gonna cry because today's subject is a bit of a touchy one for me, but I have been asked to do this video for probably like 5 years, and I really kind of want to get it off my chest. I have no idea if certain people will view it. I don't know if I will get negative comments. I don't really care at this point because I am a grown woman. But this is my story and this is important. So there is no way that I'm doing this for attention. It's just something that I've wanted to speak about for years, and a lot of people have asked me to do this video. So I want to get into it and tell my story. So I kind of want to start by saying that my friends group was very small. There's probably like 5 of us that were girls, and the rest were boys, and the boys we knew from primary school. The girls, I only know 2 from primary school. The rest were like new friends from high school. So we had a small friends group. We're very close. We never had an argument. And between me and my friends, there was never an issue. So when I turned 15, I was in 4th year. I was in 4th year when I was 15, and this was like the starting point as to where everything kind of sucked. So when I went into 4th year, me and my friends were very close still. Everyone was like everyone was fine. There wasn't an issue with anyone, to be quite honest. This year I started seeing someone, and I kind of chose him over my friends. I can happily like admit to that. I can take responsibility and say, yeah, I like took a lot of time out to get to know someone, and my friends didn't have an issue. Only one of the girls did, and she became very distant, didn't invite me to places, and it kind of bothered me. But we were still friends. No one really had an issue at this point. So towards the end of 4th year, one of my friends that I knew since I was young, my mum and dad decided to take her on holiday with us because her parents had split up at that time. They got a divorce, so we thought we'll take her on holiday to cheer her up. She hadn't been on holiday for years. Let's go have a nice time, you know, it's company for both of us. So we had a really nice 2-week holiday. We came back, and believe it or not, the rest of the summer she didn't speak to me. I really don't know why. We didn't have an argument. We never did have an argument in the past before that. She just got very distant and decided that she was gonna go and hang out with one of the girls, who was called Rachel. Now, this girl's name is quite big in this story that I'm going to be telling, which we'll get more into, but for purpose of this video, I want to officially say that I am not exposing the girl's whole identity. I have no means of doing that. For this video, I have blocked anyone commenting her real identity, her real name. You know, so it's like it's not going to be an issue for anyone finding out who she is. To be quite honest, I don't really give a fuck. If you watch this video, you know who I'm talking about, then you obviously know me, and you knew me in high school. But continuing on, so me, Rachel, and this other girl were close. We never had an issue. The other girl started hanging out with Rachel more, and we weren't as close after this point. So I went back to high school for my 5th year, and neither of them spoke to me, and I kind of was really upset. I had known them for years. Me and Rachel, our granddads died at the same time, so we were much closer than anyone else in the group. So it kind of bothered me, and they didn't speak to me. So one day I was sitting in RE, which is where you learn about culture and religion, and yeah. So one of my friends, who is a close friend to this day, he asked why I wasn't speaking to the other girl that was in our friends group, and I kind of just explained to him she hasn't spoke to me the whole summer, she's kind of used me, she's went on holiday, she's came back. I don't remember, maybe I said it in a bitchy way, maybe I didn't, but I kind of explained to him and summed it up, like what's happened and why we weren't sitting together, is because she literally hasn't spoke to me the whole summer. So at this point she was in the class, she clearly heard everything that was being said, nothing was bitchy, nothing was behind anyone's back, I said it straight up. So the break came after this class, and Rachel came up to me, and she was very loud, she was very angry, she wanted to know why I spoke about the other girl. And I kind of was like, you know, it's not any of your business why I'm not speaking to her. I haven't mentioned you as part of it. You know that she went on holiday, you know she hasn't spoke to me, I don't know what the issue is, and I don't know why you're not speaking to me either. At this point it kind of like twisted and turned, and Rachel got very mouthy, very abusive, and I kind of stood up for myself, and I was like, you know, yeah, I've got a boyfriend at this point, that's nothing to do with us being friends, that's nothing to do with anything, you know, you've also got a boyfriend, I've never said anything about that. So more of that conversation was, it was just a bit stupid. So at this point I broke up with that boy and I started seeing someone else. And at this point me and Rachel were still kind of speaking, and we were like friends at this point. Now the boy that I started seeing back then, he and me were very close, and I happened to send him a naked picture of myself, and at that point I was not long turned 16. 15. I was 15 when I sent the picture to him. Maybe I'm mistaken by how old I was in a certain year, but I know that I was 15 when this happened. So basically I started seeing a new boy, and I sent him a picture, and he also did to me, and along the way the picture got forwarded to Rachel. I really don't know how, it happened, but from my account it went to her. I don't know if the boy sent it to her, if someone was on my account and sent it. You know, I had a good few friends back then that was on my phone. I really don't know how it was possible to be sent to her, and I still think back and I don't know. I certainly know that it was not me that sent it to her, but I can fully admit that I did send it to the boy. So at that point Rachel just kind of had a giggle and whatever in the response that I saw on these messages, and nothing was really said in a negative way, nothing was spoken about. It kind of got left at, and we still weren't even speaking after this. If anything, it just like made it even more weirder. So this boy that I was seeing at this point, we were only together for a few months, and when we split up about a few weeks later, the picture got exposed. And what happened that day was, I was leaving high school, and someone I never spoke to before sent me an Instagram message, and she asked me if she could get my number because she needed to speak to me about something really important. So she called me, and she was like, I don't know how to say this to you, but there's a picture of you in the prom group chat. Now at this point I had every intention on staying on in high school. I didn't think that I was going to be going to prom. I didn't think I was going to be leaving. So I wasn't in this group chat. So she was like, there's a picture being sent in the prom group chat of you. It's a picture of you and you're naked, and everyone's talking and everyone's saying so much stuff about you. I feel like you need to know. And I was like, well, who sent it? What's happened? And she was like, I really don't want any part or say to you who's actually done that. It's not my place to say. I hope that you do find out, and I hope that, you know, you get justice for this. If it wasn't for that girl, like, I probably would have really not known like how to act and what to do. I wouldn't have known until the next day that anyone even knew. So literally I went home and it was on my mind. I didn't see anything online. No one messaged me to say anything at this point. Of course it was very in my head, like, are other people gonna see, are other people gonna talk, what's gonna happen? So I couldn't sleep most of the night. I was really worried about it, considering it was a picture of me from when I was 15 and it had been sent when I was 16. I was a teenager. I lost my friends a few months before this. You know, there was a couple of things going on that year. So it really bothered me what I was not knowing what was going to happen, to be honest. So I went into school the next day and everyone was like looking at me, everyone was laughing. There was a certain girls group that was very bitchy, who were very, very nasty to me. So upon this time where everything was going on, everyone was speaking to me and laughing at me. People were like throwing bottles at me, people were spitting towards me, people were throwing stuff. One day I went in the bathroom and there was writing in a toilet. Someone exposed my phone number all over the toilet. It was disgusting. There was stuff in the music department, like saying that I had slept with other people when I hadn't. Literally there was just so much stuff that it just got ridiculous. Like, how can actually people think this stuff up about me, and how it was actually being said over and over, not only just about the picture but just rumors that was going on. And rumors was kind of like the worst, because it didn't last a day, it didn't last a week, it lasted months, and it was like torturous. So for me, that was the first picture that I sent like that to anyone, and I instantly regretted it when this whole thing came out. And I was like, wow, like, it shocked me so much. So I had people in my year group literally like being so nasty to me. I had people like just bullying me to, like, it was so horrible. Every day, like every single day I was going home and I remember that I was crying in my room and I was like, oh my god, I really don't want to go. Like, is it going to be this bad tomorrow? Will it get easier? And I think that was kind of like the worst thing, was like thinking every single day, like, I wasn't just like having it in school, I was going home and thinking about it for like the whole night, like thinking, when will this get easier? So at one of the points, Rachel was seeing this boy, and he came up behind me this one day, and I believe it was lunchtime, so it was like a longer break than what any other break would be. So he came up behind me, and I was sitting with a friend that I was close with at that time, a completely different friend because I lost most of my friends. And Rachel was seeing this boy, and he came up behind me, and everyone seemed to know that he had like a blade in his pocket. Everyone was aware, and obviously I heard rumors that day, so I was very cautious when he came up behind me. I had a very bad feeling in this moment. Like, I felt like I was gonna throw up a bit, and I was kind of curious as to why he was like coming up to speak to me. He never spoke to me before. So he was behind me, and I was very cautious about it. And he started giggling, and like he came up to my ear and whispered at one point, and he was like laughing, and he was like, oh, I seen your naked picture. And it was just kind of, he was very like in a really cringing sexual way, and he's like laughing with whoever else he was standing with. I really don't remember, I never met the other people before, so I wouldn't be able to, you know, say who they were. But I very much knew who he was. But at this point, I happened to turn around and I literally said to him, I was like, well, can you just please leave me alone? Can you go away? I don't know if I said it in a cheeky way. I don't know, that's as much as what I said. And he literally looked at me. He got closer up to me, and his privates was like dug into like where my back was. So he was very up close to me, and he like laughed into my ear, and he looked as if he was about to walk away, and he stepped back a little, and he turned round and stabbed me. He obviously turned round. I don't know if he went straight in his pocket, if he actually had it in his hand at one point where he was speaking to me. I really don't know. It went straight into my arm, and it stung. It was really, really stingy, and I was like, at first I didn't even realize that he had done it. It literally was like when obviously I knew because he was standing there, and I felt his presence back around me, and obviously it was like I really couldn't tell that something went into me. I couldn't tell if he punched me at first. I couldn't tell because so many people was coming up and hitting me with things, or just trying to hit me in general. And he came up, and it was kind of like and literally that's how it felt. And I literally felt like his hand on me, like part of his knuckle, or I don't know what it was, but I felt something. So at this point I was like, God, that stung. Like, what the hell was that? And at this point I was like, well, it didn't feel like a punch. I hadn't even been in a fight at this point, so like I was kind of like, it didn't feel like a punch. What was that? So something was very alarming in my mind, and I started to feel very faint. So I went into the girls' bathroom, and I happened to take like my blazer off. In my school, like, uniform was like really strict of what you wore, and we had to wear like a blouse, tie, and a blazer, which most schools have that now. So I took off the blazer, and I was standing in the toilet cubicle. I don't know why I was hiding. I don't know, like, I literally would hide from everyone, to be honest. So I literally took the blazer off, and I looked at my arm, and I was like, oh my God. And there was blood everywhere. There was blood like literally dripping down my arm, like going all over my hands. It was going down on the floor. And I panicked. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Like, this has gone too far now. So literally at this point, I literally put my blazer back on. I didn't want anyone suspecting something bad happen. Not that I wanted to cover for anyone, but I literally just felt like everything was already bad. Like, what can I possibly do at this point? So I went to my year head, and I was like saying to her, I was like Grant has just like stabbed me in the arm. And I don't know what she literally thought, but she kind of like laughed and giggled as if it was like a joke. And I had to take my blazer off, and at this point there was people standing around that was in my year group or older, or that I didn't really know, and everyone was like, oh my God. I'm sorry for popping in like this, but I also wanted to say that when I went to tell my year head, she obviously needed to find the evidence of what actually stabbed me. So everyone was kind of like frantic. I was sitting in front of like everyone in the hall. There was kind of no privacy of what was going on. It was quite of a big deal. And one thing I want to say is they actually found it in my music teacher's bin. He also tried to leave the school. He was walking around hiding, and they found him in one of the music rooms. We had like little soundproof rooms where people could go and practice. He was actually there, and like a few people actually reacted to like what was going on. So literally, she was like, we really need to get a first aid. She was like, we need to get a first aider. You need to go to hospital. You might need a tetanus. I didn't need a tetanus because I had it a few years before, but I did have to go to hospital and I had to get stitches. So at this point it wasn't so much about my picture, it was more towards what he done, and at this point I wasn't really sure what to be happy about, if people were gonna speak about like the picture. Oh my god, so rude. I wasn't sure whether to be happy that people stopped speaking about that and were speaking about something else, but I went back to school like about 2 days later, and everyone wanted to know, oh, what did he do, what happened, I've heard this, I've heard he stabbed you in the bum, I've heard he stabbed you somewhere else in the groin. It was so stupid. People assumed so much stuff that didn't actually even happen. I didn't justify myself, I didn't tell anyone the whole story. I literally said to them, I was like, you know, I don't want to speak about it, or I'm not allowed to speak about it. I don't know, I just didn't want to speak about it. It was no one's business in my eyes, and I just thought, you know, whatever. So because of this happening, the police got called, and they basically went to my high school to investigate the whole thing, and Grant got completely, what's it called? It's not suspended, it's when you get excluded. It's like you're not allowed to go back to the school ever again, or like within a radius of the school. So because of how serious it was, he wasn't allowed to come back to the school. So I think it kind of bothered a few people. A few people saw him as like a big legendary hero, whatever the fuck he was. So a few people were kind of bothered, and they weren't scared to voice it to me and say, oh, you're the reason why he's left, you know. Mainly girls, to be honest. There were very few people that actually stuck up for me throughout the whole thing, but they didn't really do much, to be honest. They just kind of said to me, you know, I feel it for you, whatever. They weren't there for me. It was very few people, but hey ho. Anyway, so yeah, everyone was asking, everyone wanted to know, teachers wanted to know, and I didn't want to speak about it. So following on that week, I had a big fight with someone. She came up, she's judging me, got fed up. We had a big fight, and I got suspended myself for a few days. So when I came back, a lot of people weren't slagging me anymore, as it seemed. A lot of people kind of stuck to themselves. Like, there was very few people actually like saying stuff to me. Obviously, like, they were still saying stuff, but it wasn't the majority of people of what it was before. So because it happened, you know, I spoke to my year head and like the person just below the headmaster and whatever, and I spoke to them, and you know, they didn't shout at me, they didn't say anything wrong to me. One of the teachers actually said, you know, I'm actually proud that you finally stuck up for yourself. Like, anyone would do that in that situation. And literally I had a long think to myself, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna do my exams, and I'm gonna get on with life. There is part of the story that I really don't want to mention, because it's very triggering to me, and it will be triggering to a lot of my viewers, that I do not want to speak about. It comes under the topic of suicide and harming, and I really don't want to disclose that on this channel. Yeah, I'm happy to expose stuff about my life, but not that depth, and I don't want to go that far. So you either understand it or you don't. I really don't know what to say. I went for a hard point. I dealt with it in a hard way. People do. And I did. So moral of the story was moral of the story was I kinda had to keep myself up. I had to move on. I had to completely leave that life behind I went to college, I met lovely friends. Anyone that was part of my high school and spoke shit about me, they're kind of blocked out my life and have no way to contact me. That is kind of the story of what happened. I don't know if I missed bits, I don't know if I remember things, but I said everything that I'm thinking right now, and that's as much as what I can tell the story, to be quite honest with everyone. But that is the story and that is my truth. Obviously there's two sides to every story, and a lot of people say that. A lot of people experienced it, a lot of people saw what I went through. A few people always had questions that I've always said I don't really want to speak about, it's not the right time. I went through a point where I wanted to get revenge. I went through a point where I was really upset. I went through a point where I actually went through forgiveness for how low I actually felt. I was like, you know, in my head, if I'm gonna react, if I'm gonna feel negative, it's only gonna make the other person happy. So I didn't make the other person happy. I blocked the other person, Rachel and Grant and all these people out my life. So there is no means for anyone to really know what I'm talking about. I went for a shitty time, and that's that story. If you have any questions about this story, then you can write me a little comment below. And if you're going through something similar, and no matter what age you are, please get help. And please, if you're in high school and something similar has happened to you or a friend, don't be that person that makes the situation worse. Don't slag people, try and understand them, because no one understood me and no one wanted to understand me. Please help each other. That is completely what I want this channel to be about. No negative vibes. Don't take the piss out of each other, just support each other. So I hope that I answered it all, and I hope that you look forward to the next video, which will not be about that point in my life. But if you're interested in like little story times and whatever, let me know and I can do something maybe a while from now. I hope if you like this video you can let me know, and you can maybe give me a thumbs up and to say yeah I like this, or thumbs down saying I didn't like this, it was really triggering, it was too much, or it was, you know, whatever. People won't believe, people will believe. But yeah, I'll see you next time, guys, and I'm really thankful to everyone who has been supporting me, or you know, being there for me since I've not been in the country and whatever. But I love you all so much. So until next time, bye.